Hello and welcome. This is Amy, and we have guest Christine. And we're now embarking on a series called the Empowered Empath. And we're going to be going over what the Empowered Empath looks like on this journey of our podcast. But today we're going to start with what is an empath and how to identify if you are an empath and what that looks like, what that feels like, and like what the spectrum of being empathic looks like. We have like these varied approaches of viewing ourselves, from being on one side very logical, on the other just very feeling, and everywhere in between. And we all find ourselves maybe wondering who we are in this like really, really chaotic world when we feel so much. This has been my case. And I think many, many people are the same. And I want to bring it over to her, Christine. Hello. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, you are very welcome, and thank you for having me today. Yes, so yes, the empathetic people feel a lot, um, and oftentimes don't even know where their feelings start and others begin, and that really increases the confusion of living. And both Amy and I have experienced this very thoroughly and have learned quite a few things that have helped us on our way.
Mhm.
Yeah. Back over to you, Amy.
Yeah, we've definitely acquired a lot of tools navigating this space as we have remembered along the path of remembering who we are, because this awakening journey to self, to this loving ourselves as, these empowered empathic beings. The journey has been, up and down, up until you get to these points of owning this sensitive aspect of yourself and really turning on these the really kind of like powers because you get to tune into the emotional states of yourself and others, and making it work for you. And that's what the empowered empath is like owning your energy and stepping into that with really like this graceful knowingness of how to conversate with people, how to work with people, and be in a more balanced state of being, and more responsive and less reactive. Because you've kind of done so much self work as we have over the last decade or two, but really the last decade, of really stepping into what it means to be empathic, but also we're both healers. And so that really, of course, is like very a huge tool that has helped us know who we were and to bring that to the world. And the path along the way of like owning that. And that's been quite the process. Right, Christine?
Absolutely. I didn't know who I was, embarking on the path of awakening. I felt so much from so many places. It was extremely confusing. So, the first thing that really helped me on the path of understanding myself was first knowing who I am as an energetic sensation, really, what my energy feels like, and basically who I am when I am still and in my center. And that was crucial because the whole rest of my life I was taught to look at life very logically and very 3D, and we're all socialized to be more on our masculine sides. So switching my mind over to understanding the importance of my energy was really key to start the process.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and don't you think that as we embark on this journey of self-discovery as empathic beings, it comes about in the most well, challenging ways, to put it quite frankly. Like these triggers, we're presented with so many triggers in our awakening process in the very beginning. You have family members, you have friends, you have children who are then kind of like reflecting back to you all of the stuff that you have like stuffed away and didn't want to look at because it's fine. It's back there. It's totally cool. I have no problems. Until you find that you're being triggered after trigger after trigger, and then you're able to then look at yourself in a whole new way and get present with those triggers of whatever it brings up within you, whether it be anger, frustration, impatience. And you're like, where does this come from? Where do these feelings within me reside? And where do those all pile up? And where did it come from? And that's when the inside journey really, really begins. Because when you look at yourself being like the creator of your world, that's the concept that took me a while to get. But what we project is what we receive, right? And
Yeah.
um, and that's a huge aspect of the growth, like growth period of being triggered and looking at yourself and healing those aspects of yourself, and then bringing in your inner child to look at and heal. Um, is all like it's like the beginning grounds of the awakening that you think.
Yes. Understanding that the the things um, our triggers and the things that we see outside of ourselves are mirroring what's inside of ourselves is absolutely crucial, so important to this process of you know finding our or staying in touch with our true selves,
Yeah.
because when we are triggered, we're out of balance. We're not our true self in that moment. We're reliving an energy from the past that is stuck inside of ourselves and ready to be released and healed. But we don't understand. Most people don't understand what triggers really are, and it's so easy to blame the triggerer
Mhm.
for the event. Um, yeah, so most people get stuck on that
Mhm.
point for a long time until it happens so many times that we finally learn that it's something inside of ourselves that we need to deal with uh, first and foremost,
Yeah.
and learning what to do with the triggers and the other things that cause us to get out of balance is extremely helpful.
Well
And yeah,
said.
something that we are definitely going to be discussing in this series.
Yeah. And that's like really that embodies the unempowered empath, because that's when, along you don't realize quite what's going on. You just know that you feel so much all the time, and it's very discombobulating and chaotic because you feel so many other people's energies. Um, speaking of myself, like it felt like kids' energies. I have three kids, and the first few, like you just get so much presented to yourself, and you're like, what is going on here? And why am I acting this way? Uh, why can't they just behave? I'm like, oh, like you the whole looking within part is huge, and not wanting to blame it on the kids for misbehaving when it's actually just my expectations of their behavior. Well, why do I have those expectations? You know, where
Hmm.
do those stem from? And
Yeah.
yeah,
And are they helpful? Do they does that truly serve the family that I want to create?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Those.
Yeah. And then often you find yourself, I found myself a ton like on autopilot and like just regurgitating these programs that I grew up with. And I'm like, this is the way
Mhm.
I grew up. This is the way you're going to grow up. Like, but then I'm like,
Yep.
wait a minute. No, no, no. This is not a good thing. Because you catch yourself in these loops of like, no, this is, as your awareness grows and you know, it reminds me a lot of like victim consciousness because everything's happening to you.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That being a victim is being very unempowered, and victims always, are seeking that validation from the outside. And what we're talking about here is claiming everything that's inside of ourselves and knowing who we are, what's ours, and what to do, how to navigate what's inside of ourselves.
mhm,
Because it's not easy to navigate what's inside of ourselves because it's in there for a very good reason. We didn't know how to deal with it in the past. It wasn't safe, and we didn't know what to do with it, so it stayed, and it keeps coming back until we properly take care of it, really, so that it can be released for good, and um, go back to our center. Um, as a personal example, I started releasing trapped emotions inside myself by observing them, just letting them be, let them run their course, kind of being there for them as I would a good friend. And I noticed that they would just stop. It would just be done, and I would feel so much lighter. So, yeah, knowing what to do with those times when we're out of balance and don't know what to, we haven't known what to do, can really, really help keep us on track. Yeah, in our authenticity, and being in touch with who we really are.
yeah, exactly. Like that, I kind of have the analogy of like it's the spiral within. It's finding our pathway back to our center through
Hmm.
our outside experiences and handling them one at a time and doing the shadow work or the walk backs or the emotional release. There's so many tools to help with this. I use the emotion code. It helped greatly identify and help me process a ton
Yeah.
during the space of time. But anchoring in that authentic self and getting to relearn what that authentic self looks like,
Yeah.
because a lot of times it's very hidden because we grow up in this very masculinized world where it's very fast paced and there's no time. You don't give yourself enough time to slow down and actually feel the feels. You're just
Hmm.
getting through life. It's very flight or fight, um,
Yeah.
very adrenaline paced.
Yes. Yeah. Do action based. Not definitely. It doesn't. Society as we know it does not allow for coming, you know, coming from a feeling base.
Right. Yeah. Honoring the emotional body and recognizing that we are actually energetic beings before we're physical beings is
Yeah,
a huge concept, and it's really not acknowledged enough.
absolutely. Absolutely. We are energetic beings at our core. We are spirits having human experiences.
Mhm.
Our true nature is our unique energetic signature that only you have. And the more we can ground into that, the more we are connected with our higher self, which is the pathway to why we're here.
Mhm. Mhm. Remembering, right?
Yeah. Our higher selves are our future selves that have already experienced it and learned everything. And the more we can align with that and invite it into our physical bodies, the more we are in aligned with our divine purpose.
Yeah, and a great tool. If we were to walk back to our ourselves 10 years ago, um, this could be like the best tool to like just have ourselves sit with hearing your center, like just that mantra. Just keep hear your center, like, but how do you do
Mm,
that? Like, how do you get to the point where you can hear your center?
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we do have some tools that we have used and have been very helpful in s- getting aligned with our center and helping us be there more during the day. Yeah.
Definitely. And being able to catch yourself, because humans, as humans, we all find ourselves triggered in one way or another throughout the day. But it's about the conscious awareness when you practice it enough of knowing when it's like, oh, I'm triggered. And then, it's like a practice I do with my kids, like count to 10 before you respond, if you can
Right.
remember. So it's just a constant practice of awareness of
Hmm.
how to be in your energy and not out of it. Because when we react to a trigger, we are out of our energy and we're into someone else's.
Hmm.
And so when we're able to then stay in our center, take that deep breath, think of a response that's in your highest and best good of yourself and everyone else. It takes so much practice to get there. And, you know, love and forgiveness to all my previous selves that were not there.
Yes, absolutely.
That's part of being human, of course, but getting into this anchored embodied awareness does
Mhm.
come with practices that we both have been doing, and one of them being breath work. Breath work is huge.
Mhm.
Christine loves this topic.
Yeah, breath work, breath, it's life. It's the thing that we would die quickest without. It's it's so simple, so it's easy to forget about, yet it is our most valuable tool to get into our center because any kind of conscious breathing is taking you from outside awareness to inner awareness. And that's key in getting into our centers. And we all have an energetic channel that runs through our chakras and our spine. And if we focus on that channel while we're breathing, we are literally in our center. And there's other things that we can do to enrich it as well, such as listening to the sounds of silence. It's it absolutely changes our energy and our awareness to simply listen to the sounds of silence. And my intuition tells me that it takes us from 3D to 5D awareness, or yeah, awareness, I guess you could say. And yeah,
And that centeredness.
we could go on and on about breath work, but in my life, it's I've found that the breath is the one thing that we can control totally.
Mhm. Yeah, it's when you practice it enough, it really does become like this tool that can anchor your energy. If you want to get into your feeling body and really feel like the energy, and how we are connecting to the earth, you can actually practice enough to where you feel the energy of your being connect in with the energy of the earth, and it rise up through you. And with the breath, you can raise this energy feeling and have it like really pulsate through your body, to where you're kind of humming and with like this really like palatable flow of energy. And it's really incredibly grounding. And you're able to get the best part about breathing is it provides clarity, and like because it obviously oxygenates your brain, and that in turn helps the clear thinking and the clear knowing.
Yeah, it encourages movement, flow of energy.
Mhm.
And that's what we want. Being stuck is trauma, that's what we're here to release. It's
Yeah.
what we're here to free ourselves of.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And anytime you're going through a rough time or feeling so much of something, going
Yeah.
into the breath will help move that energy through you to have
hmm
a more relaxed state of awareness, to perceive something like almost like a bird's eye view and not be
hmm
in it.
Yes, that's a really great point, Amy. Yes, it shifts our perspective to a more balanced, higher perspective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is like the biggest tool to becoming the empowered empath.
I
It's,
would agree. Yeah.
yeah. And do you want to lead our listeners through a short little grounding breathwork session, and then we can end this podcast for today and continue on next time with more fun things to talk about.
I would be glad to. Thank you. Um, so, first, get into a comfortable position, whatever works best for you, trying to keep the spine in alignment as best as possible. And also holding holding the spine as straight as possible, having a feeling of relaxation in the body. So being aware of what the body's feeling like, noticing any tension or lack of flow moving through the body. And now that we have some body awareness, I'm going to call awareness to the invisible energetic channel that we have running vertically through our chakras, and invite everyone to simply breathe deeply into the channel. However feels best for you. A vertical movement is very efficient and helpful, but really anything that feels natural and good will suffice. And simply breathe. You're going to notice the feeling of expansion and release. And keep focusing on the sensations of the breath as it moves in and out. Noticing any sensations in your body. Simply inviting any tensions to release. And in a moment, I'm going to invite everyone to not only focus on the sensations of the body, but to listen to the sounds of silence. We are allowing, receiving, and releasing. Know the great power of the breath and know that you are an amazing, unique, energetic being, first and foremost. And remember, your breath is always here for you to connect you into you. Take as much time as you can to feel your energy, knowing that your breath connects you to the heart of the universe, and the heart of the earth, and everything in between. We are all connected. Let us remember it through our breath. Namaste.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I really felt myself sinking into my heart space.
Mm.
floating down from my mind, the monkey mind, and feeling myself settle into my heart space. And then
Mm,
it gets to the quietness. You're able to then feel the sensations that your body is giving you,
mm.
echoing out information. And it's,
Yes.
yeah, it's like then we're able to say, well, what is that? And what is that having to say to me?
Hmm. Yes. Beautiful. That's it. That's such a big truth right there, is that everything within us is trying to communicate to us. It wants to be heard. It's very easy to think about it in terms of the inner child, but really every little thing that's stored away inside of us wants to be heard. It wants a loving witness.
Yeah. And I was just feeling my heart expanding.
Mm,
I've done a ton of work on the heart space. So I was just feeling it just going out and rippling out
mm,
and working. And like you can, ask to turn on your third eye, your inner sight, and just play with that more and more, activating it each and every time you go into that stillness. And then you're given visions. Your higher self,
mhm,
spirit is speaking to you through
mhm,
visions and words you may hear. So it's in this space, this quiet space of this simple meditation that doesn't have to take very long, tops 3, 5 minutes
mhm,
of really tuning into the self.
mm.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful opportunity to share.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
this is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
just thrilled that you felt it so much, and that's like that's what we can do with it. We can really strengthen ourselves, and it's so simple.
Yes, and so we'll be coming back again in a few weeks with another bunch of topics to discuss. And yeah, you have a few words of closing before we go.
Ah, look within, we've been taught our whole lives to look outside of ourselves for the answers, but they're really all within us.
Yeah, yeah. And to hold yourself with tender patience and
Mm,
kindness because we've been in those spaces and they show up now and again. But these levels of, of growth that we all experience, we do have to have these like pauses to recognize and do the honoring of self, getting to where we are and getting to what we're going through and seeing ourselves on the other side.
mm. That was beautiful. Absolutely. I couldn't stress more the need for that loving compassion, patience for ourselves through this process, because it we talk about it pretty lightly because we've been through it for a long time, but it is not easy. It is not for the faint-hearted.
Mm.
There's a reason that everything that's stored within us got stored away. It's not easy.
Yeah, it wasn't ready to be witnessed. It wasn't ready to be witnessed or felt. We didn't
Mhm,
have that, the space of time. We didn't have the surroundings of
mhm,
support for that
mm,
process. So Now we
Yeah,
can love ourselves and give that to ourselves with
yeah,
compassion.
absolutely. Beautifully said.
Beautiful. So, well, this is the Empowered Empath series, and this is episode 1, and we will see you back here for episode 2. Thank you for listening and see you next time.